everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Fiona here. So today I wanted to come on and make some little charms for your junk journals or whatever else you'd like to use them for. And excuse me, it's night time here at the moment, so I'm a little bit tired. Sorry about that. So because Easter's coming up and I want to get on and make this little Easter folio, I wanted some little charms or little dangles to go on it. So I'm going to be making them out of clay. So I'm going to show you how I would make them out of the clay that I use. And I actually use an air dry clay. So if any of you have done clay projects before, you know that you can get a polymer clay which you actually bake in the oven to make it go hard, or you can get an air dry clay which takes a day or two to dry. So this one here is a little, you know, there's quite a few different types of air dry clay as well. So you get the one sort of that comes in a block like this, and you buy this one in the shops, usually in a bigger block, you know, about 500 grams, or you can get a kilo block. There's places like Kmart, there's Spotlight, there's, this is in Australia. Any art and craft supply store will normally have air dry clay. So that's that one, but you can use this one if you want to. You can use either. Because the one that I'm going to use is one that I actually make myself. The reason I use it is that, well, for starters, it's actually cheaper than buying the what do you call it? The polymer clay. Now, polymer clay that you buy dries very hard and sturdy, and it's kind of like a plasticky finish. And this one here, the one that you make, it's actually, the one that I make is actually called cold porcelain clay, and you might have heard of it before. There's a few people on YouTube that use it, and it dries very similar to polymer clay, and that's why I like it. It also has a very hard plasticky finish. And I will come on, not in this video, but I'll do another video very soon where I'm showing you how to make this clay, or how I make mine. There's lots of recipes out there, and I've tried lots of different ones. I think the one that I use to make this one is the one that I like the best. So I will come on and show you how I make my clay. So, okay, so what I want to do is make some little Easter eggs, just little Easter egg charms. And I wanted to get on and do it because obviously Easter's coming up and they need a day or two to dry out. And then after they've dried out is when I can paint them and decorate them the way that I want to. So now this clay is translucent, so when it dries it's kind of, I guess it's got a kind of a porcelain finish, and that's why they call it cold porcelain. Now when you make it, you can put white acrylic paint in it so that it's white and it becomes opaque. But this one I didn't. My next batch I might do that, but it doesn't really bother me because I'm going to paint and decorate these afterwards anyway. So either way. So what I'm going to do is just what you call conditioning the clay, like you would with any clay. So just rolling it out and making it you know, moldable. Although this is a very soft clay anyway, you'll find it's a lot softer than the polymer clay when you initially get it out of the bag. And you need to store it in an airtight bag or container, otherwise obviously being air dry, it will dry out. So I've just realised this is really a bit glary. This is just a piece of freezer paper, but I don't really need it because the surface that I'm working on is okay for this clay. It won't stick. It's this is just a piece of MDF that I like to use. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to need for one Easter egg because I haven't tried it yet. So I'm just going to roll that to, this is just an acrylic roller, maybe 5 millimeters, half a centimetre thick. And I'm going to cut little circles that are the same size, only because I want my little Easter eggs to be roughly the same size. So then I just know I've got the same amount of clay for each one. Not sure how many I'm going to make, just a few. Now I've got a little piece here that's yellow already, and that's because I've coloured it. This clay you can colour with food colouring or oil paints or acrylic paints, and you just put, you know, a little drop inside and then you just mix it and you'll get the colour that you want. But I often use food colouring, and I think that's what I did with this one. So I thought that I might as well use a piece of this, seems that it's already yellow as well. So I might make a couple of little yellow ones. So I'm just rolling it like that. I'll cut out a couple more. If you guys don't like doing this sort of thing and you don't want to make your own charms, I am thinking about, you know, making charms and putting them in my shop. I've already actually got some. There's a couple of videos on my channel where I've shown you them, and they are little fairy doors. I sort of made them into keychains, but you can use them as little 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll do one more. You can use them as charms or dangles for your journals as well. So they're not actually in my Etsy shop. They're actually on my website, on the shop there. So I'll put a link below in case you're making a fairy journal or something and you want a little fairy door charm. Now I'm just going to put this back in here so it doesn't dry out. But I thought of, as well as the eggs, I'm also going to make some little rabbit shapes. And I happen to have a little sort of rabbit cutter here. You can get these cutters anywhere. I can't remember where I got these, but I think you can also get them in like a cake decorating shop where you might have little cutouts for fondant and things like that. I actually think I might have got mine in a second-hand shop. They came in a bag like this, so there's quite a few in there. So first I'm going to roll out the circle. It's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Just roll out a circle and then try and shape that into an egg shape. So I'm going to make it just slightly pointier at one end, and I have got a crack in my clay there. It's probably a little bit dry. Now with this clay, when it's dry, you can use water if you want to, but I've found a better thing to use is actually baby oil. And where did I put my oil? I did have, here it is. I've got some oil in a little container here. Because when you actually make the clay, you actually do put a little bit of oil in there. So if it becomes, you know, a little bit dry, and you think that it's cracking, just add a little bit of baby oil. And sometimes if it sticks to your hands, a little bit of baby oil helps as well, because it can become, sometimes be sticky. So I'm just going to do that. All right, let's roll it out again. Make sure it's nice and smooth this time. And I'm trying to keep that circular shape in the middle, and then just sort of pinching it a little bit at the top as I turn it. Sort of pinching and pulling it up at the same time. And hopefully I'll end up with a little egg shape. And a little bit at this end as well, but maybe not as much. I'm just going to roll it on here so I can keep it a bit more uniform. And get a little point at either end. It's kind of tricky actually, doing an egg shape. So this end's quite pointy. You still want to try and keep that circular shape. So this end I'm going to just push up a little bit, make it a bit more rounded rather than pointy. And just turn it and try and make sure that you've got it the same on, you know, all sides, looking kind of the same. So you've got some sort of an egg shape. So I'm just going to roll that again because it's going out of shape. And then I'm going to tap the bottom a little bit so it's a bit flatter. Make it rounded. And then get my little point at the top. So it's kind of like a, actually let's start again because that's become a bit elongated, hasn't it? Let's try that again. And let's pinch the top just a little bit, maybe not as much as I did last time. I'm turning as I do it, and you can see now that I've almost got a little egg shape. See there? So you don't want to do it too much. I overdid it the first time and it became a bit too elongated. So I've got a nice little egg shape there. So let's do another one. I need a little bit more oil. And then I'm going to show you how you would add a little charm or a little loop at the top so that you can put a charm or a link, what are those things called? The chains in the links. So you can put one of them in there. So we've done a circle. Just gently pull one end, pinch one end and turn it as I'm pinching. Still trying to keep it rounded on the rest of it. There we go, and I've got this little egg shape again. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to shape all the rest of them. Actually, I'll do one more. I think I've got enough oil on my fingers now. I'll do one more just to show you. Okay. I'm going to pinch. Turn. You can probably get a mould for doing this, but I don't have one, so that's why I'm shaping mine by hand. There we have another little egg shape. Kind of wonky, but still an egg shape. Okay, so I'm going to make the rest of my little eggs and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back and I've made all my little eggs here. Sorry about the shadows, but yeah, it's night time. So I've got a few shadows here, but hopefully you can see okay. So I've got my little eggs and you can see mine aren't perfect. That's okay, because also when this clay dries, you can actually sand it down. So if they're not really smooth, we can sand them back. But I wanted to show you how to put in the little head pins. So I couldn't find, I had a brand new packet of head pins somewhere and I couldn't find them. So I'm just going to reuse these ones that I just was making some little round beads out of clay. So it's just these head pins. Oops. There. They've got a little loop at the end. And you just find them in, you know, like the jewellery finding section. And if you don't have them, you can actually make them yourself out of wire. So you just get your pliers and put a little loop on one end. So now, but these are obviously too long to go down through our little eggs. So we want to get our pliers and just snip them off. So I'm going to snip them off to about this length so that they fit in my down into my little egg. I don't want it too short because I don't want it to come out. So hopefully I can just, that should just snip off there. And I like to use a little bit of glue as well. When you're using this type of clay, the cold porcelain, your glue is usually just a PVA glue. So say if you want to glue two pieces of clay together while they're wet, you know, depending on what you're making, just PVA glue. So I'm going to dip it in there. And then just, you know, being careful not to squish it. Just push it in until it gets like that. There we go. And don't worry about the excess glue because it all dries clear. So at that top edge, pointier edge, I'm going to put my little jump ring findings on there. And then, you know, you can hang it from a chain or like a little keyring fob or anything, you know, however you hang your charms when you make your little journal dangles. So there's one. Let's do another one. Do I have one? I'll have to find them because I know I've got some new ones. And you do get these in silver or gold. Just snip this one off. And keep these, keep the ends, because as I said, you can make more out of these ends by making a loop on one end. So I'm going to dip it in the glue and just, hopefully you can see, just push it into there. And now it'll dry with that loop in there. So I'm going to finish doing the rest and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and I'm just going to put my little Easter eggs aside to dry for a day or two. It depends on the weather, but I think these might take a couple of days to dry before we can decorate them. So I'll put those aside to dry. And then, as I said, I want to make some little bunnies as well, bunny rabbits, and then paint them when they're dry also. So going to roll out some more clay. Oh, and while I'm here, I just grabbed one of my little, these are fairy doors, which I made out of this very same clay that I made. And I'm pretty sure, did I paint this or, actually the back one is black. I dyed it black with some black food colouring. The rest of them I did with the white clay, but I actually painted them, I think. I think I painted them, or I could have coloured them with food colouring. But you can do it either way, but you can see how, this is the same clay, but you can see how hard this is. Hard and plasticky. And you can embed things into the clay as well. So anyway, that's my little fairy door ones that I made that are on my website. So I'm going to roll this out to, not too thin, but not too thick either. The thicker they are, the longer they take to dry. So maybe about 3 millimeters or so. And another way you can do it, if you've only got a small amount of clay, is to just roll it and come in with, you know, your little stamp, your acrylic stamp blocks. You can use these to press it down. But this stamp block's not quite big enough, so I'm going to roll it out a bit more. I'm just going to turn it I'll just roll it the other way. So I think it'll be about 3 millimeters. I think I just want to do 2 little bunnies for now. So it's just as simple as cutting them out. Just like that. Peel this away. Now you see how sometimes, because it's quite stretchy, you'll get these little pieces sort of sticking out from around the edges. But that's easily fixed because it's quite easy to work with. I'll show you what I mean. So I've got some sort of little pieces that are sticking out because of it, stretching it when you're pulling it. But all you need to do is dab it with your finger like this. If I just dab it gently, it goes away. So you can do that, or you can wait till it's dry and sand it off. So there's I've got my little bunny shapes. And I'm going to come back and paint these when they're dry. So that's all there is to it with the little bunnies and Easter eggs. So as I said, these are going to have to dry for a day or two. And then we'll come back and decorate them. So that's it for my video today. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And oh, one more thing before I go, sorry. With the bunnies, now if you want to hang these, you can do the same thing, and you can put another one of these in, probably in the top there between the ears, and push it in like that if you want to. But there's other ways you can do it depending on where you want to hang it. And I was thinking with mine, I might, if you wanted to hang them, say, from the tail, this is another way you can do it. When you've got a flat piece like this, is just to put a hole in it. So as close as the edge as you can, and just turn it like this. I'm just using a toothpick. And then you've got a hole there ready for when you want to put a little chain link in there, or a piece of string, or it's probably not big enough for that, but you can make it bigger. You can use a straw if you want a big hole. I think I'll just do them like this, and hopefully they're not too thick to get a link through. And one more thing, you will notice with this clay that it actually shrinks when it dries. So with your eggs, you might want to just make them a little bit bigger than what you actually want them to finish up being, because this clay will shrink around about 15% in size. So about 15%. So, and you'll see that when we come back, that these will be smaller. That's the only thing that you need to remember with this clay. But I don't mind, because I don't really need these ones to be very big. Okay, so that's it this time. I'm going to let them dry, and I will see you when we come back. Bye-bye.